What's up everyone, Train Freak here, and today I'm going to kind of show you some bench working stuff as far as getting the plywood on top. I apologize if my voice sounds funny. Allergies have been kicking my butt here lately and whatnot, so a lot of drainage, a lot of coughing, and I kind of feel like I've lost my voice for the most part, but eventually that'll get better. So I wanted to go ahead and show you this first, because I told you this wall that I put in is going to serve not just as bracing for the bench work on this side, but we're going to have staging on the back side. And I haven't built the plywood for the staging portion yet, but I will go ahead and show you what it's going to look like. But the first thing I wanted to get in was this piece here. And this is where the trains will actually, the train will actually come through the wall. So what I ended up doing here was, after I got the grid up, I took just a couple of pieces of 1x4s and cut them to the exact width of a 1x4, and I screwed them into the 2x4s. And then I took another 1x4 and measured out, cut for it just to go directly through. And you can see that I popped 2 screws here, 2 screws on that side, and then the reason why I have this middle one here is so that way I could pop 3 screws here, and that keeps the warp out. Alright, so that's the first thing I wanted to show you. Next thing is, I've got a 4x8 sheet of, this is Project Pine, that Home Depot sells. It's pre-sanded plywood, 1/2 inch. And the project pieces actually are more ply than the regular 1/2 inch plywood that you get. So better hold, and the fact that it's already pre-sanded. Now I have ran into an issue, and this is going to be something good for y'all to learn, especially since we know not every corner is squared in a house. So what I ended up doing was, I measured from the corner to that corner, and then measured from over there where, you know, the bench work or the plywood ends, all the way to here. And my measurements came out different. I came out with 66 inches here and 65 3/4 inches over there. So that tells us that the wall off of a 2-foot section is not squared by 1/4 of an inch, or 1/8 of an inch for every foot. So how do we combat that? Well, basically we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our measurements from this corner here and measure all the way out. And we have my little mark there for 66 inches, and then that's my mark for 65 3/4 inches. And then what I'm going to do is, I am going to take this guy here, and I might have to get some clamps, but I am just going to go ahead and set him on there, because see, I can't use a speed square because this piece here is not going to be squared. Alright, so I found my clamps. I don't need the tape measure right now, so I'll get it out of the way. And the first thing I'm going to do is just basically get it to where I'm just outside of my line, and I'm going to clamp it down to the plywood. And then I'm going to easily make my adjustments and do the same thing on this side. This way I can get a good straight line drawn from one side to the other. Now, if you're wondering how I got the plywood ripped in half, the nice thing about Home Depot, and I'm pretty sure Lowe's is the same way, is that they have a humongous table saw. So if you tell them that you know, if you're doing 24-inch bench work, when you go buy your plywood from Home Depot, just go ahead and have them rip it. Now, I know some Home Depots, you got better staff than the other, but I mean, hey, you know, it is what it is. So the next thing I'm going to do is, so that way I know that I put this piece in right, is I am going to end up writing right here front And I'm going to draw an arrow this way. So this way I know it goes towards my bench work. Okay? Because this piece is only going to be able to fit one way in. It's not going to be able to fit the other way. So you can see I wrote front with my arrow over. That tells me I'm going to the existing bench work. Okay, so we got this sheet of plywood up on here. And you can see where the joints here. I've got a 2x4 going from this brace there to this brace, which has got these two kind of flushed together, so that's why I got those screwed in like that, just to keep that height the same. Because right here where the two plywoods join, there is no brace underneath it. Closest brace is right here. So I had to do something like that. And I do have a slight hump here, so I might have to get another couple to go in there, but it'll be fine. So that's just something I'm going to have to work through. But that was fun, because like I said, with this wall not being squared, yeah, it was a tough thing to get to fit in place, because this board could only go in one direction. So I wanted to show you that, and then I worked on something else. So let's go and take a look at that. Alright, so this is actually what it's going to look like when you walk into the train room, well, kind of like right now. And so I put this shelf in right here, and what this shelf is, you see it goes all the way to the end of this wall. Right there, I flushed it. But it doesn't go all the way to the end over there because there was no need for it. But basically this shelf is to basically state that we got a train running here. It's going to curve and go on to the layout there. So that's why I didn't go no further that direction. There was just no reason for it. So this is only 4 inches wide. So what I ended up doing was I made an L girder with it with 3/4 inch ply. So that's why it's so thick. This is also plywood down here too. And I had some scrap sheets of plywood that was 36 inches in length. So I ripped it on the table saw 4 inches. And I took the first one and I cut it in half right there. And so you got a joint here on the bottom. Then you have a joint here on the top. Kept going, joint here on the bottom. Joint on the top, bottom. And a small piece to finish it out there. And what I ended up doing was taking, these are some scrap 2x4s. Things that, these actually came off of the feet that, you know, we used down there. And so this is what's helped keeping, you know, it level this way, front to back. But you can see that's it's going to be a really nice little staging track. This is just going to be for the Rock Island local. So this is going to represent Little Rock, which is not on the layout. That's our Rock Island staging. So when the Rock Island local, he'll go out, he'll do his switching and stuff. Just along that wall over there, which is going to be Brinkley. And then when he's finished switching everything in and out there, he'll have some cars to pull back, and he'll pull back the train this way. So at the end of the ops session, the person who's running it, which will most likely be me, will have to end up taking the locomotive here, moving it down on that end, caboose over here, and there is the possibility we might take a few cars and interchange in and out with the metal cabinet here. So, but yeah, that was part of the envision that I have for this layout. And then the cool thing is you're not going to be able to see through this wall, because on the other side of it you're going to have the backdrop. We will have another piece of benchwork like this further down somewhere in this area. And because we're going to have the Ashley Drew Northern staging track down here, which will represent Crossit. But this was one of the first things that I had to get up and going. I don't even remember exactly how long it is, but I know it's longer than 8 feet in length. from the 2x4 where it starts curving. So, but yeah. So all we got left to do to finish the last of the bench work for Brinkley is we've got to get the bracing underneath, and what I'm going to have to do is I've got to dig out. I've got some more of these 2x4s, you know, with that routed edge like that one. Then I'm going to have to dig out and start cutting those down to 18 inches. Get them on every single stud all the way over that way. Make a corner section over there like I did with that one. And then I might go ahead and put in the 18 inches on these studs here as well. Because that's going to do a dual purpose. It's going to hold the shelf brackets, which you can see I've got those sitting on the floor there beside my battery and my cracked bowling ball. And yeah, don't even ask about that story. But yeah, that's going to be the next section. So what'll go over here is going to be actually the White River. That's going to be on this side. So that's going to be a really neat scene. Below it's going to be the city of Pine Bluff. And then below Brinkley here, where all the scrap wood is that will eventually get knocked out of here eventually, that's going to be the High Stakes Ranch and Kilowatt Power Company. So, making progress, and that's where we're at with things. So, alright, well, other than that, I'm going to let y'all have at it. Y'all be safe out there, and I wish y'all a great week. And thank you to my channel supporters, or channel members, and my Patreon supporters. Y'all help keep things moving forward with the channel, so I really appreciate y'all. And if you're interested, hey, look into it. And if you're new, feel free to subscribe. If you like what you see, there's a whole lot more to come. And hit that thumbs up. Fill in the bell after you subscribe too. So, alright, be safe out there. Y'all have a great one. Happy road.